Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, December 16th, and we're so delighted to welcome you to another edition of Likkle, Byte Ideas. I am Doreed Whitlock. I am the Chief Marketing Officer of Samuel Fields Consulting Group. And if this is your first time joining us, we are delighted to welcome you. This is a 1-hour show where we talk about all things finance, but we make it very interesting and we discuss all aspects of finance. It is throughout the month of December, we're taking a special look at our small businesses. We're also looking at knowledge. And so we have a mix of guests here today that I think will make for a very interesting show, and I'm so excited. But let's first start by introducing you to our panel. I'll start with our CEO, Megan Samuel Fields. Megan, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, Doreed. It's a pleasure to be here again.
These Thursdays go by so quickly, I tell you.
So quickly. It's Christmas time again.
Christmas time again. And I will start with the lady first. Our guest is Miss Tavia Hunt of Hunt Farm. Many of you may know Tavia from her dance school. But Tavia is also a budding entrepreneur, and she's going to tell us about the exciting venture that she started with her husband, Hunt Farm, and they're into the business of chicken. Welcome, Tavia.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, Tavia.
Thank you, guys.
Excited to have you here.
My pleasure. So where do I start, Reed? My background is dance. I'm a dance educator. I'm also a teacher. I've taught in primary and secondary level. I am now teaching performing arts at the Antigua State College. And when the pandemic hit, everything came to a halt. My dance school was forced to close, and let's just say my whole life halted, and my income stopped.
But hold that thought, Tavia. We're going to come back to you because I want to hear all about this. Let me bring in our other guests, and then we'll come back to you. We can't keep our other guests waiting too long. We have Mr. Mac Gardner. Mac, how are you?
Good afternoon, everyone. How is everyone doing?
We're great, thank you.
Good.
And
Thank
Mac
you so much.
Is an Antiguan. He is a certified financial planner. Most people don't know what that even means, but he'll tell us all about his background. He's also written a very interesting book that, there we go, Always Prepared. And his book really targets our youth and getting them how we begin to impart the knowledge about financial planning to our youth, which is so critical. So we're going to be talking to Mac about his career, his interest in financial literacy, particularly for the youth. And we'll all end it, of course, with a spotlight on our 20 little gift ideas that we're featuring all month. So Mac, welcome once again. And Tavia, let's double back to you. I can tell this is the beginning of an exciting journey. So we were at that point where you were telling us about your background. You're a dance instructor. You're teaching at a tertiary level at the State College. So tell us how COVID hit and how it changed your life.
Okay, well, COVID hit, and it certainly changed my life because it forced me out of my dancing shoes.
Oh my goodness.
Into a field that was very new. I had little experience in it, except just for some practical knowledge that I would have gathered along the way in secondary school. And it was really an idea that my husband presented to me. And I was like, you sure you want me to do this? Because I don't have the experience to really make this work. And he told me to trust him. And what we basically did was that we blended our skills. So from my background of performance and just being really able to interact with people and really have a knack for like problem solving and just really having a flair of how I present things because of my performance background. I use that to help market the business while my husband really got into, the chemistry of farming and finding methods that gave us a very, very good product. And I became his understudy, so to speak. So I had to learn, to go into the pens and feed the chickens. And I did a lot of heavy lifting, and I cried some mornings because it was really, really hard work. Very much out of my comfort zone. I had to get up extra early in the morning to do these chores. And there were some days when I thought, you know what, I can't do this anymore. But when I started seeing the response from the community about the work that we were doing and the fact that we were producing some sort of wholesome experience where the food is not tampered with, it's hormone free, it's fresher, the quality is something that they have not been accustomed to and they've grown to like, I started to feel like I was doing something for my community. So I became motivated to stick with it. And it's been just over a year. And we have grown a significant amount of customers. And I'm talking like more than 300, 400 customers who would have passed through the business. They may not shop every week or every month, but I do have data that shows that I have sold more than 400 customers our product in a year. And I was very motivated by that because this was something very new for me. And so I decided that instead of seeing this opportunity as something that's coming against me and against my lovely dance life, I decided to embrace it as an opportunity for me to grow in another capacity and still feel the same satisfaction that I do when I do teach dance, when I do engage in performance. And somehow it happened. So I fell in love with being thought of as a poultry farmer / dancer, because I found a way to make both worlds overlap without actually one replacing the other by the way I feel about what I do as an entrepreneur in poultry farming. So I started learning how to make flyers. I'd never made a flyer before COVID-19 because I always pay people to do that. Didn't have any money. So I started learning how to do that. I didn't really pay much attention to finance, except as it was directed with my dance school. I had to learn that over the years because I'm an artist, and you know how we are as artists, we're very about creativity and we're very much about how we feel and getting something done. But I had to really get on the other side and learn how every cent, how it should add up, how you put things in perspective. And so I had to do this even more with the poultry farm than I did in the dance, because in the dance I had people for that. But I was all alone in the poultry farming business, and I had to do everything that I paid someone else to do. And so it got very scary at some point. I became frustrated because I didn't have to do this work before, and now I have to do it. And it's taken a lot of my time, but I learned so much in a year that I don't think I would have traded this experience, because now I'm so much more grounded and so much more astute as what I pay attention to in terms of how things come together as a businesswoman, that I think that I made the best decision to become a poultry farmer. So even though I'm still learning, I really think, and as you said before, it's a journey unknown. I really don't know where this is going to take me, but I'm certain that the way I feel is a good thing. And I'm okay with that now.
Fantastic. I just love the passion. Mac, I'm going to bring you in, because when I talk to you, Mac, I hear similar passion. And, there's something that comes with, that self-actualization where you get to that summit where you realize that you are, you are a master of your own destiny for the most part. And you have an opportunity to leverage some skills that you may not have even thought about. So, Matt, so Tabby, we're going to come back to you because I want to get into you've already gone through the operational side, and I've heard a little marketing and management coming through. But we're going to come back because I want to probe a bit about the financing. I mean, that's a critical side of it. But let me bring Mac in to talk a bit about your passion, Mac. We talked about your background in financial planning, and of course your book, and some of the other pursuits that you currently have ongoing.
Sure. So first and foremost, a shout out to my sister-in-law, Danielle Bird Brown, for connecting us and bringing us together.
Correct.
And then today is actually our eldest child, Amira, her birthday. She turns 15 today. So
wonderful.
Today's
Special
a
day.
birthday. Wanted to make sure I got that stuff out to everybody.
Absolutely.
So
that's great.
The 4 Money Bears book was actually my second book. My first book was called Motivate Your Money. And I wrote this book because I have spent 20 years in the financial services industry. And when I had my own practice living in Houston, it was just eye-opening how people that have money really didn't have a lot of financial planning background, understanding about how money works and their personal finances. And so the story behind the 4 Money Bears was one of my clients came to me and said, "Hey, Mac, love the first book, love your Mac nuggets, as you like to call them, to simplify finance and simplify these concepts. Would you be open to writing something or creating something for kids?" So I started doing some research and some due diligence and found that a child's connectivity with money actually starts by age 7. So by 7 years old, children are observing their parents or the adults in their homes financial habits, how they spend money.
That's very interesting.
How they interact and engage with money. And there's only 4 things you can do with money: spend it, save it, invest it, and give it away. And so that is how the idea of the 4 Money Bears came to be. We wanted to create a platform that allowed a parent who probably never got this personal financial literacy guidance. And of course, the frame of reference is here in the United States, where I grew up. But financial literacy or illiteracy is not just a US thing, it's a global issue. It's not taught in many schools.
Yep.
So we wrote the book to help parents with young children start the conversation in a fun and entertaining way. And we published it about 5 years ago, and we have had some really good success. Financial advisors across the country actually use our book to give to their clients who have young kids to start the conversation about managing money. And what we found is that the earlier we can start injecting into the minds of young people the fact that they have more than 2 options, right? Mm-hmm. The book itself is literally the story about me, my wife Jan, and our 3 kids. We take them to the store, and the first thing the kids want to do is buy toys.
Spend the money.
Spend money. The second thing that they may have experience with or exposure to is saving. But there are 2 other important aspects of money that, 1, children understand, and 2, if they can understand early enough, can make a huge impact in not just their lives, but the lives of their families and the lives of their community, which is the concept of investing, right? Tavia, to your point, you all are investing in your business. All the things that you're doing, you're investing to have a service, a product, to make a profit, to continue to grow your enterprise, right? That's something that young people need to understand. And of course, the last function, which is giving, or altruism, and it's important to give as well. So the whole idea behind the 4 Money Bears is to start the conversation with young people about what their overall options are with money, so that the first thing they do isn't just to run and spend everything, but to be aware that they all need to work together. And if they can all work together and they can start these habits early as kids, they'll have success financially as adults.
That's
awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it sounds, what were you, Mika, let me let you go. You were saying?
No, I was just saying it was so awesome. I really love it. It really hits at the core of what we should be doing with our money. And the earlier we get that into our children, then imagine the ripple effect. It's awesome.
Yeah, long term. It's fascinating. And, so quickly, we have the book. We created the book. a lot of response that we got was, Mac, this is awesome, but kids are learning digitally nowadays. Kids are learning in school on iPads, on their phones, they're playing games and so on and so forth. And when COVID went down, Tavia, to your point, a lot of stuff changed and folks are like, okay, what are we going to do? And even on my side, it gave me the opportunity to expand and look at other areas. And I actually took a course through Wharton on gamification. And what was interesting about that course was they found that games are a great way. The process of gamification is a great way to get people to learn and do things that they probably wouldn't want to do if it wasn't in the game. So
Wow.
What we're doing now is we created Finlit Tech, which is our consulting company. And what it does is our mission is to build a bridge between financial literacy and financial technology. Tons of tech out there helping with banking, lending, investing, tons of tech to help you do stuff with your money, but not a lot of technology helping to teach people what to do with their money. And so we are actually in the process of developing the For Money Bears Berryville. It's going to be a first of its kind kids financial literacy app that teaches children what I call both sides of the entrepreneur, or both sides of the personal finance fence. They're going to run a business. They're going to run a berry farm, and they're going to have to, deal with their berries, farm their berries, make products with their berry farm. And then the other side is we're going to teach them about managing their money through quests and quizzes. And so we're really, really fans of the fact that technology is what's going to be able to scale and impact people, especially young kids in underserved and overlooked communities.
I am just so blown away, Mac, I have to tell you, because this is something I had been thinking about, not to that level, but recognizing. So I have two boys, and one in particular loves video games. And I've always said if he could learn through video games, he'd be a boss, because that's what gets his attention. And so I'd been saying, I think I'd mentioned it to you, Dorit, that I want to do something educational through games, but I don't know how, but that's an excellent, excellent thing that you're doing. I applaud you. We need that. We really do.
Thank you. We're trying. We're trying to meet people where they are, and trying to make the experience about learning about personal finance fun. We call it financial literacy.
I love it. I love it.
So,
financial.
Again,
okay.
We're out here trying to change the world one child at a time. One child at a time.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yep. So Tavia, Mac, thank you so much for that. I mean, I'm just amazed, that, I'm big on ideas, and I just love being around people who just ideate, who bring new things to the table, expand on them. But most importantly, you're consistent. You stick to it. You stick to your guns, you stick to your base. As a matter of fact, Megan, I think Mac, you're in Tampa, correct?
Yeah, Tampa, Florida.
Oh, that's where Megan's son is.
Hey.
That's where Aaron is, right?
Yeah. And I go there at least once a year.
He is a budding CPA. I mean, he loves the finances, so we have to connect you guys.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
Tampa
But let's
growing.
bring Tavia back
I
in.
know. We've lost Tavia.
Listening to both Mac and to Tavia, I heard so much passion. That's a common thread. But also, Tavia, I know when I told Megan about Tavia, Megan was like, I never met Tavia. And I said, you know why? Because you don't have girls, you have boys. If you had daughters, you would know who she is. Because she's so well known as someone in the performance space, working with a lot of young people, shaping minds, well loved. I heard about her long before I even met her. And so it's interesting. I truly believe that creativity and passion, they're transferable across so many industries. Once you are creative, once you're passionate, there's very little that you put your hands to that doesn't work and doesn't take life, because you're almost like a life shaper. You're almost someone who breathes life into ideas. So I want to hear a bit more about your, we heard about the coming together of the farm. And so we've been going through this whole COVID thing for almost 2 years. And I know your business is at the point now where beyond just selling chicken in the village, you now have an outlet in the public market, and you're also doing events at your home. I
Yes.
truly believe that when COVID clears and we embark on that path of that new normal, whatever that is, everybody talks about it, but I don't think any of us know what to expect. I think we're going to see such a mix of different industries, the way we, the way we seek entertainment, the way we travel, the way we even, the way we congregate and communicate with each other. There's going to be a big shift, and
Yes.
business and the face of business will also be very different. But tell us about your plans for your business, what you're currently doing. Take us on the second leg of that journey. I can't wait to hear more.
Well, it's been interesting for me because when I entered into this whole idea of being an entrepreneur in this aspect of the industry, I really started thinking about how many more years do I really have left to make an impact, whether it's a financial impact to leave something for my children, or something that takes me out of the system where I can live above just paycheck to paycheck, if you understand what I'm saying. And one of the things that I started brewing in my mind was, do I want to just have a business, or do I want to leave a legacy? And do I want my children to not have to start over? Like me and their dad, we start with nothing. We're looking after our parents now. And we're thinking, okay, can this business be the way out? Because yes, I have the dance school, and it took me 20 something years to build that. So I'm thinking, do I have that amount of time? No, I'm in my 40s. Can this business really do that for me? So I'm trying now to understand how I can have this business stay alive even after I'm no longer here. Because one, it carries our name. It's a family name, the business. And that kind of makes me feel like I'm responsible for its success, not just for me, but for my children and their children, because I see so much examples of it in our communities where our other persons of other nationalities and races are making this trend. And I'm thinking, couldn't I, why not also learn how to do this? And so this is where it gets really scary for me, because I'm almost feeling like, do I have a place in this setup? Like, can I actually penetrate it and find a space in it that I could just grow in a way that supersedes what I can do right now? And that is where I'm at. Like, how big do I want Hunt Farm to become? And I'm not sure where those roads are at the moment, because I learned that it's not so easy to have a brand. It's not so easy to stay relevant. It's not easy to keep people interested, because there were some months when we couldn't sell anything. Like, no one was buying, and we're thinking, what happened? They don't like our products anymore? Is it something in the economy? Is there something else that we need to do? And I think when I listened to Matt earlier, he talked about investment. So we didn't go get a loan to start this business. We took the resources that we already had and took a risk in saying, okay, I'm going to do this thing with the hope that it's going to manifest for me. So I'm on a very a nerve-wracking journey at times.
I can imagine.
I feel like I want this to work for longevity, So I want to become a name that's a brand that Antigua can say, this is our thing. This came out of our shores. This is our people. But the product, how do I make it unique? I'm still trying to figure it out, because poultry farming is not new. And we have other poultry farmers on the island. But what I feel is that we can make a change how people eat, change the fact that people support their own, change the fact that people have greater pleasure shopping local. And I am having a struggle with that some days, because there's some days I'm asking myself, why aren't they more responsive. And then there are some days when I'm like, okay, that was really nice. You know, I had some really great reviews. A customer came and they loved the extra mile that I went for them. But it's so up and down. Like it's not hard. You know, it's hard to know that today is going to be the day. So every day you got to wake up feeling like it's going to be the day, and you have to just go with it. But I want Hunt Farm to become a brand just like Tyson, just like any other amazing product poultry brand that's everywhere in the world. I think Hunt Farm can get to that stage. How I'm going to get there, Mac is going to tell me, and you and Megan. But
Mac, if it's one thing,
I feel like I can get it. You know, I have the imagination for it, and that's where I want to go.
I love
Awesome,
your
girl.
passion. I mean, one thing Mac doesn't need to help you with is confidence. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you have your
And
days,
passion.
but if you can bottle that passion and sell it, you know, the passion I think will rival the chicken, because you really have a lot of passion.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you put a lot of thought into this. I hear a very clear vision. I'm sure the path, you know, some needs some pruning and some care as you go along. But Mac, I am sure in your world, as you have ventured away from your core business of being in the office and having your own practice and going after this whole, you know, FinLit education, I am sure that you too have your days, your moments when you question what the heck are you doing. I'm sure your wife sometimes wonders, you know, what is he doing with the family? What is
So,
Mac really doing with the family resources, with these big ideas that he has in his big brain? So,
so
Mac, tell us, please assure us that you too have your challenges as you know, blaze a trail and venture into new territory with your business.
So, Tavia, yeah, everything you're saying is the life of an entrepreneur. I heard a quote, someone saying, it may have been Jerry Rice. He says, "I do the things every day that most people won't do to live the life that most people can't live."
I
Right?
love it.
So the idea and mindset of an entrepreneur is very different from someone who just kind of, you know, not saying it's right or wrong, but has a job and, you know, expects to have that steady paycheck. It is a totally different mindset, and you almost have to be maniacally driven to move forward on a daily basis because of that inconsistency. But it is that risk, and I'm glad you mentioned it, that is extremely important to achieving long-term growth. For example, when I speak to elementary school children, and I tell them that there's a difference between saving money and having it in the bank and investing that money. And it's quite simple. The difference is risk. With a bank, if I gave you a $100 bill, and I call it the $100 bill challenge, and I ask young people, if I gave you this $100 bill, what would you do? Of course, 9 out of 10 kids will raise their hand and say, oh, candy and Pokemon cards and video games and sneakers and all this random stuff. And then one kid on the back will say, oh, I'd put in my piggy bank. And I'm like, okay, you're trying to be different, but you probably wouldn't. But the difference between having that $100 bill in a bank is that a year from now, you'll have $100 and some change. When you invest that $100, that's either in a business, that's either in property, that's either in some sort of bond, something along those lines. There's a chance that your $100 next year could be $200, or there's a chance that it could be $50, right? But over time, if you look at it statistically, we see that wealth is grown and perpetuated through entrepreneurialism, through businesses that are looking to create profit and grow their enterprise, right? And so, Tavi, I hear what you're doing with Hunt Farms, and the first thing I think about is, okay, she's in Antigua now. What's the closest market she could impact, which would probably be in the Caribbean? Who could you connect with in other places out there to grow and expand your brand and expand your unique flair of doing what you do? You start in Antigua, then you expand to the Caribbean, and then you look at South America, Central America. And if you have the idea and you have people who are just as passionate and can see exactly how this whole thing pans out, it can happen. You just have to have the vision and have the drive and desire to that day when you wake up and no sales coming in, you're like, oh, geez, here we go. Tomorrow is going to be another day. Tomorrow will be a better day. Tomorrow could be that day that you get a record-breaking day. And that is what could propel your vision to be a reality down the road. So yeah, it is a totally different mindset. It's a mindset I think that if more young people had, I think as a society we'd be in a lot better place, because people will have that hunger, that desire to create things and do things and bring different visions, but also have the financial awareness and the financial knowledge once you have the assets. I can't tell you, when I had my practice, good 80% of my clients were business owners. I love working with business owners. Business owners have two lives. They have the financial life of their business and their personal financial life that they have to manage.
Wow.
And a lot of times it's hard for them to kind of run them as efficiently as possible on their own. And so because my background is in commercial and corporate lending and finance, as well as personal finance, I love sitting down with business owners and helping them manage both sides of the house. So if Tavi, if you have any questions about any of that stuff from a finance perspective, be happy to assist.
Yeah, I like that.
I wanted to ask a question, if that's okay. One of the struggles that I had, well, I'm still working through it financially, in terms of, there's a market, and there everything has a price that customers are willing to, quote unquote, pay for. When you're an entrepreneur and the cost for everything that you have to produce is so much more than your competition, then you're kind of stuck with losing a lot of sales or losing a lot of, quote unquote, interest from the people who you want to shop with you, because they would say, oh, so and so, I could get it cheaper. Oh, why is your stuff so expensive? And there is a battle when you don't have a choice but to up the price of your product because of what you have to spend to produce it. And then you think, okay, how much should you be willing to lose then? Because, okay, we're in a really tough time now. The profit margin for Hunt Farm is not wonderful. We're barely making it, because we're thinking, boy, if we add $2 more, $3 more to this thing just so that we can have a little wiggle room, people may not be able to afford our product, so you try to figure out which one do you cut off, your arm or your nose. Other times you feel like, I like to put myself in the shoes of my customers, because I too am a customer and they budget the same way I do. It's just that when they come to me, I look like the bigger person to them, because they think I have so much more that I'm giving, so they think I'm in a better place. But then how do you deal with that? Because there's so many weeks or months when we're just barely hanging by the thread, because the economy and what our customers consider reasonable is hard. I can't say, okay, I'm going to add $5 more to this because,
So, you actually can. And
okay.
The reason why you can is because cost is only an issue in absence of value. Always remember that.
Okay.
Cost is only an issue in absence of value. There's a reason why Louis Vuitton can charge $3,000 for a bag that costs $50. Because they've built a brand and they've built something that people see an inherent excessive value for.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you build your brand and build your Hunt Farms, your chicken, and you make it extremely clear as to why that person, and you put that value way up here, how the chickens are bred, how the chickens are fed, your process, there's value in your process.
Okay.
I agree. Make it experiential.
You have to feel comfortable. And you know what? A couple things will happen. I've always heard that you grow with your nose. And you grow with your nose.
Right.
You may find that your market may not be the market that you're serving.
Right.
It could be restaurants, which are fairly big in Antigua.
Hotels, high-end.
Hotel, fairly high-end people that have no qualms whatsoever paying your premium for your product.
Right.
And
Right.
especially now, what's happening, more and more people are looking to get off of all the hormones and the different things that are in
Yeah, the
chicken.
processed
So
foods.
if
Right.
you market that as grass-fed, organic, using
Right.
all of
You
those
know how much people are
words,
charging for that kind of chicken here in the States? It's ridiculous.
exactly. I know. So,
Seriously,
but there's a market for it.
it's a massive
Right.
market.
Because people are trying to eat healthy and they're
Yes.
recognizing that there's a link with all our illnesses and
Yes.
all the different things they're putting into our food. So if you
Absolutely.
can market it as
Yes.
organic and you stick with that. One of the things I posted in our 20 Likkle Byte incubator was being consistent. So I
Yes.
heard you earlier when you were speaking about the ebbs and the flows. You know what, my dear
Yes.
girlfriend? We all go through that. That is a part of business. So I like what Max said. You had a bad day, you get up and you say, tomorrow is going to be better. And you just have to do that. But as you do that, just be consistent. It's
Yes.
not going to be an overnight thing, but
Right.
you just have to focus on being consistent, recognizing that you have to, at the end of the day, you need to be looking at your numbers. If these are what the costs are, you need to, at a bare minimum, break even, which means you should be selling at cost, which really makes no sense because you want to make a profit, but you need to know what that break even amount is, and then you up it. But when you're upping it, you know the reason you are increasing is because this is a product that's different from any other. So here's where your marketing skills, and maybe you rely on a marketing person to really push your product. But I believe that particular niche of organic and grass-fed, now is the time for it. Now is the time for it.
And you know what? Again, you said your husband deals with the chemistry and all the other stuff of all the different formulas.
Right.
You could actually, again, how the entrepreneur thinks, that formula of seed that he is creating, that could be the thing that takes you over the top.
Right.
Where other companies and other places in the country, in the Caribbean, across the world, all of a sudden, hey, this Hunt Farm folk, they're using this thing that's really good for the chicken. So that's the other thing too, is when I wrote this book 5 years ago, I did it because one of my clients wanted to help teach their kids about money. There are people in France, Germany, Canada. There are people around the world that buy our book now. There are companies that are coming to us that we had no clue, no thoughts. It's really allowed me and forced me to really expand as what else can come from this. And I think if you do that with everything that you're dealing with that's personally touched by you and your husband, and find a way to market and profit from it, I think it could help.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You know what I was thinking as well from the marketing perspective? Well, first of all, I happen to know there are hotels in Antigua that probably, COVID it's a different dynamic, but they're probably hotels, high-end restaurants, people of high net worth who still don't know that you exist.
You probably, yes. You're right.
I think there's some room to expand your promotion and perhaps do it differently. I think you should think of an experiential way of promoting your product. For example, all of us have, we have roots in the country. Our grandparents had chickens. Mac, I'm sure you did too. You visit Antigua.
Chicken,
but how many
goat,
of us actually
everything.
got a close-up experience in terms of how the chicken is prepared? We might have seen our grandparents do, various aspects of it. But I remember years ago going to Sorrento, Italy, and one of the tours that they had preset for us was a farm tour. And in my head, I'm like, please, I'd rather go shopping or go into a bar or something. But you're with a group. What are you going to do? We went to a farm, and it's one of the most amazing tours that I've ever been to. They actually made for us mozzarella. There's nothing sexy about mozzarella. You eat it, you don't even think about how it's made. So it was a farm where it was like a cooperative. 3 farmers, one made mozzarella, one grew lemons for limoncello, and the other one, I think, did linseed oil or something to that effect. And we got to see how limoncello was made. We also got to see how mozzarella was made. And it was amazing. The woman made it from scratch. And then, of course, they served us a meal. And I'm telling you, I think there's so much you can do, especially with your performance background, to really make it an experience. Think of kids who are looking to do field trips. My brother, Clement, has all kinds of stuff at his house. My kids, when they lived in Antigua, would go a couple of times. Their field trip was to his house when they were like in elementary school, because there were so many interesting things to see. And these kids lost their minds to see rabbits and to see chickens and to see things, close up. And so I think, Tavia, I like your passion. You're definitely visionary. You're definitely creative. And you just have to go back to the drawing board and constantly evolve this business. Yep. I think you're on to something. But excellent. I also wanted to come back to Mac, because a question I had for you before I forget: how can your, not necessarily your business, but what is your vision for bringing financial management to a place like Antigua, so that we can begin to create the next Tavia Hunt? How do we begin to cultivate, the young Tavias and get them on a path of financial wellness? With COVID has changed everyone's perspectives. Even young people now recognize that you may pick a career, but it's a smart thing to have a side hustle. And it's a smart thing to begin to manage your money, because they may not totally remember what life was before COVID, but some of the lessons that are coming out of COVID is you have to diversify your talents, your sources of incomes. You have to have multiple streams of income. How can we get young people in Antigua, given our culture, to embrace financial literacy, money management, all of those things that are considered life skills today? So
I heard, I was at a conference and someone talked about, what's your BHAG? I'm like, BHAG. And your BHAG is your big, hairy, audacious goal.
Wow.
All right. And so
love it.
Our BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, is for every child in the world to learn about money through the 4 money bears. Right? And what we feel is the differentiator about what we're building through Finlit Tech is that financial literacy has been, the educational processes have been very Byzantine, very old, very stodgy and boring. So our thought process is the 4 money bears, right, serves as the sort of on-ramp to a child's financial education process, no matter where they are, no matter what language they speak. So if you are a child in Antigua and you want to start understanding and learning how money works and the process of money management and starting healthy habits from early, you start with this game at as young as 5 years old, primary school, and you play this game. And then as that child gets older, right, a couple of things are going to happen. Technology is changing everything that we do. We could probably go another hour and talking about cryptocurrencies and blockchain and all that stuff, which we're going to actually incorporate in our game in due time. But technology is just changing dramatically and drastically, right? Finance is old, but that is part of all this cryptocurrency, all the things happen. So there's 2 spaces that you don't necessarily need to be confined to a space to be impactful, right? Technology is one of them. So I foresee kids in Antigua, kids around the Caribbean, understanding and learning about personal finance through our platforms, through our games, right? All the way till they get out of school, but also to be exposed to technology and ways that they themselves can do things and grow things and create things through all the technology just available to everybody in the islands. Has a phone, everybody has connectivity to internet, right? If you have these things, you now have access to this whole new world to build amazing things and amazing resources right from your home. So, finance is definitely one space that I think Antigua has been globally known for in the past, and the offshore banks and this, that, and the third. And of course, that's evolving and changing. But I would love for our little island of Antigua to be this hotbed of entrepreneurs and folks that are on the tech and finance scene coming out of our little Antigua and impacting the world, either there or elsewhere. So that's sort of my vision.
Love it.
That's really great.
Awesome.
That is amazing. We've been talking so much. Usually we stop to see if we have any questions. Megan, do you know if we have any questions?
Yes, we have.
We do have some questions. Okay.
We have a question from one of our favorite followers, Miriam Samuel.
Yes.
Our mother. And her question is, any classes for seniors?
Finance? Classes? What kind of classes? Or dance?
Finance. Finance. I know for sure it's not dance.
So this is the beginning of the financial journey, right? One of our second project, or sort of ancillary project we're working on, is to develop a multimedia financial education platform, actually called Motivate Your Money, that talks about managing finances from, say, when you earn your first paycheck till you pass away. So we are working on developing that platform. Right now, a lot of our attention, though, is really in developing the app based on the 4 money bears and getting the on-ramp set up. And then we will serve as a track for other things that come. So to answer your question, the classes are in here. They haven't been put out there.
Great. And then again from Mrs. Samuel, this is to Tavia. And it says, hard work doesn't kill. It motivates you. Go, girl. And everything will fall in place and it will become part of you. And I think these are great words from our mom, because she's 87 and she's still working hard and she's still creating her different products. So, yes.
I much appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, here's another from Manelva Samuel. And she says, please, giving up is not an option. We appreciate the quality, standard, and passion. Better days will come for the business.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Definitely.
Fantastic.
Good comments.
Well, keep the questions coming. We have a few more minutes on our show, so keep the questions coming. We have a lot of passion with Tavia and her new venture. So a lot to learn from her if you're at that stage of your journey. And of course, Mr. Gardner is a seasoned certified financial planner. So if you have questions for him, this would be a great opportunity to get some advice from a veteran who understands the whole financial landscape. But
you had a question.
CEO, you've been quiet. Go ahead, Kathy.
You made a statement earlier a bit, as in, what is a certified financial planner and sort of what goes into that. So a lot of people know what a CPA is. I think we may have one that's on the staff.
Yes, I'm a CPA.
And a lot of people know what an MD is, right? So a CFP, a certified financial planner, is someone that has specialized in helping people in really 5 areas of their personal finances: investments, insurance, retirement planning, estate planning, and tax management. So anything that goes into building financial plans or helping people navigate those waters and understanding exactly what steps need to be taken, what are the ramifications of doing X versus Y. That's what we do.
And it
Awesome.
is an AICPA designation, correct?
It is, yes.
Yes.
So
I
it
think I
is?
told you I worked at the
It's
AICPA years
it's
ago.
recognized by the AICPA, but
Right.
it's
It's a
the
separate
CFP
body.
board.
Oh, it's a separate
Yeah.
body. Okay.
Yeah.
CFP
I
board.
think the
Okay.
AICPA,
They have their own
has
certificate. They have their
a
own
certification,
accreditation, right?
Yeah, I forget
For
what it's
financial
called.
planners. I forget what it was, but I
Yes.
am familiar with the CFPs.
Yeah, I forget what the AICPA one. They do have a
I forget
comparable.
what it was. It wasn't
Yes.
as popular as the CFP.
No, because it's like an add-on. So like me as a CPA, I could do the I forget what it's called.
it is. It's some
Certified,
kind of is a
close to
what we're on
certified financial planner.
Yeah.
And so as a CPA, you just have to do some additional courses,
Coursework,
and then you
yeah.
get that additional designation. So
The neat thing about the CFP designation is the organization has put a lot of resources into marketing the actual designation and the brand in the sort of wealth management space and the
oh my gosh,
financial
tell me
planning.
about it.
Yeah.
So I'm always searching and looking for what should I do next. And I saw the CFP and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so up my street. And I expressed an interest. And since then, I have been bombarded. It's like they're coming after me, sending me this, sending me that. It sounds so really interesting, but I don't know if I have the time right now. But it's something I think I want to do.
One of the reasons, actually, so I serve on the board of University of South Florida's Personal Financial Planning Degree Program. One of the big issues that's going on right now is that the average certified financial planner is in their early 60s.
No.
And so the industry itself is in dire need of younger people to get involved. And so there's a huge DEI push. CFP board. I had a call today with one of the corporate representatives of CFP board to talk about some of the things that we're doing. And what they love about our book and our mission is because we are starting the conversation at such an early age.
Yeah.
Young people don't realize that it's a career choice because they don't look at money as something that needs to be focused on and learning about. And so if you growing up went and told your mom, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor, oh, blessings. If you said, hey, I'm going to be a CPA, blessings. If you tell them I'm going to be a certified financial planner to help people manage their money, they're like, huh? What that? No. Go and be a doctor.
Interesting.
So that's what we're really trying to work in parallel with CFP board to put programs together to make the awareness as early as possible.
Great.
Yep.
So I have a question. Tavia, where exactly are you located, Tavia? In Suites?
I live on St. Anne's Road.
Oh, wow.
So it's right off of Fig Tree Drive.
Oh, we know where that is.
We know, St. Anne.
We know where that is.
St.
You
Anne.
tourists drive on to go to John Hughes and go to zip line and
Of course.
yeah.
So you're right there. I mean, you definitely need to consider how you can. I mean, once the market bounces back, how you can have some kind of experiential setup where people can stop. I mean, a petting zoo. Lots of tourists have not ever gotten this close to chickens.
Wow.
And so, you should really consider how you can perhaps make this some kind of tour, a tasting tour, something experiential where people get to tour the farms. I mean, I remember seeing when they had that farm years ago when we were growing up at Lindsay's. Remember that farm, Megan?
Mm-hmm, of course.
The Walters farm?
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing to visit.
The chicken farm. Mm-hmm.
The chicken farm. It
Jinx
was just
Walter.
amazing to visit. So, Tavia, you and I will speak. I think, and again, you reference your performance background. I mean, you have so many great talents that you can weave together to create something new and interesting. And location. I've always said where you're located is one of the most traveled, aside from maybe going to English Harbor. Going down Fig Tree Drive is one of the most
yes, it is.
travel routes as far as our tourism routes in Antigua and Barbuda. So you have location on your side.
Yes.
So here's another question, Matt.
You're making me, my mind is spinning now. Like I'm dancing ideas in my head now.
That's what
Write it
we
down.
do. That's
Write it
what we
down.
do on Nickelbike Ideas. There's a
Absolutely.
question.
Yes.
There's a question, Mac. How can I get one of your books? So if persons
So-
want to get your books.
So the best way is on Amazon. Both books are
Okay.
available on Amazon, and like everything, you can buy everything on Amazon nowadays. If you live in the States, international orders work as well. I'm not sure how well Amazon works getting down to Antigua, but we have had international sales across the world. But Amazon right now is the best place to get it.
Okay.
I was going to ask that same question, so I'm glad Mr. Samuel asked it, because I wanted to know how I could get your book too, because I'm about to start reading it tonight.
Yep.
So
And of
definitely,
course,
Amazon is
we are highlighting 20 little gift ideas. We had our 20 little gifts, and then I said, wait a minute, we have 3 authors that are joining us in the month of December. Why don't we just throw them on the list as a bonus? So to everyone who's listening, we are going to highlight our 20 Likkle gift ideas momentarily, but Mac and our other 2 authors will also be donating a book. So if you support our 20 Likkle gift ideas and those businesses like Tavia, who are a part of it, you have a chance to win Mac's book and the other 2 books, as well as the other gifts. But I'm here to tell you, you don't buy one book. This is the kind of book that if you have young people or if you have a family that you want to gift, this is the year that we are pushing local purchases. Shop local, support local authors, support local businesses. Let us rebuild our economy by supporting each other. So here is your opportunity to support Mac and also to get the gift of knowledge or to provide someone the gift of knowledge. But Mac, before we go to the 20 Likkle gift ideas, here's a question that I wanted to find out more about: financial wellness. Financial wellness, I notice, is something that you are into. And boy, could the world use some financial wellness now in terms of coping with COVID, all of the financial challenges. Very quickly, I don't want to take us off course too much, but tell us a bit about financial wellness. Many people hear about it and they don't know what it is.
So the whole concept behind financial wellness really stems from the sad fact that our finances are extremely pervasive in many aspects of our life, right? If you are working in a corporation here in the United States, the phrase financial wellness really deals with what are the things that are going on in your life due to financial stress, right? COVID-19 did a number on a lot of people because a lot of things shut down. A lot of people didn't have emergency funds, things that like having money saved away somewhere for an emergency, people living paycheck by paycheck. A lot of those things, your physical, your mental, a lot of those things are affected by your financial life and by the choices that are made that lead to that financial situation. And so when we talk about financial wellness, we look at how you interact with money. We look at how you feel about money. We look at how money makes you feel. There's so many different ways around it, but what we find to be the stem of it, I was at a junket and I was talking and someone was like, well, Mac, how would you sum it up? And I said, people are focusing, when it comes to money, people focus on the fruits and not the roots. Right? People focus on all the cool things money can do for you and all the things money can get you and the cars and the shiny and the toys, but they're not focused on the roots of it, which is education, right? Which is knowledge about personal finance, what your options are, the difference between saving and investing. And so that's why we feel there's a formula to financial wellness, and the formula is this. Financial literacy, very important. You got to have the knowledge, right? It's really, really important. There's tons of knowledge out there. But you must give people the financial capability or the tools to be able to impart the knowledge and get things done. That has been the issue we think has been going on. And so that's where we think, fintech and technology really can help a lot of people when it comes to being, better off and achieving financial wellness. Because if you give them the education and you give them the tools to get there, they have a much better chance of reaching financial wellness.
I like that. That's interesting.
Thank
What
you.
I've found as well, for us, when we think of financial wellness, we think of the whole body. And what we have found is to be financially well, the other areas of your life, they're all linked to being financially well, whether it's spiritual, social, intellectual, environmental, mental itself. So what we have found is when we speak about financial wellness, I like what you said about the root and not just the fruit, because at the root of it is it's the whole body. So if you are out there busy making money and not taking care of the physical body, then you're not in balance. And then you won't be the overall wellness of you, to be off balance. So I like to look at financial wellness as a combination, a holistic balance of every area of your life. And it's amazing how finance is just woven into all the areas of our lives.
So true.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love this.
Let us take an opportunity to highlight our 20. Aaliyah, let's get our video going, and we're going to highlight our 20 Likkle gift ideas. These are 20 businesses that we have come across. They've been nominated in certain instances, or people have approached us, and we've come up with a list of really cool, innovative, creative gifts ranging from products and services across various industries that are crafted by Antiguans and Barbudans. And we are promoting these 20 little gift ideas as something you should consider to gift either yourself or someone else this holiday season. So give us a minute so that we can introduce to you the 20 Likkle gift ideas.
Christmas time again. Who no wanna add, who no get the Christmas time again. All of my family, all of my friends. Christmas time again. Yeah. Fully Christmas time again. Fully Christmas time again. Fully Christmas. Bust the champagne like my big head spiff. Watch how the girl them hips then tick. Everybody love when you bring them gift. Jump in on my car, shift and drift. Every girl them have to roll out. Gone their country, they a road house. Every store have a soul out. My mama give her money fall out. Christmas time again. Who no wanna add, who no get the best. Christmas time again. All of my family, all of my friends. Christmas time again. Yeah. Fully Christmas time again. Fully Christmas time again. Fully Christmas. The best time of the year, when friends and family appear. Yes, we together show love, we a cheer. Ham and turkey, half a deer. Under the Christmas tree, gifts them wrap for the kids plenty. Everybody nice and feeling happy. The team work hard and we say more money. Christmas time again. Who no wanna add?
Love it.
Oh, right.
Nice music,
were you guys able to see the video?
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't see it from my end. Wow, okay.
Yes,
Okay,
very nice.
great.
Good music.
Yes,
All
the music
right.
is really
Well,
nice.
before we close here today, I want to give our guests an opportunity to.
Can I just jump in to read? There
Sure.
are a few other questions.
Oh, they are.
Um,
Let's get the
yes.
questions going.
So, a question from Marion Byron. Hi, Marion. Could you indicate the name of the books again? So, would you like to? Yes. So the
first one is called The Four Money Bears. And the other one is called Motivate Your Money.
Motivate Your Money. Great.
Motivate Your Money.
And then another one from Mrs. Samuel. She wants to get in contact with Tavia. Tavia, how can anyone get in contact with you, not just Mrs. Samuel?
Okay, well, my phone number is 727-3912, and I am also on Facebook, Hunt Chicken Farm, and I'm on Instagram, Hunt Chicken Farm 268. Again, phone number 727-3912. She can call me, and I'll be happy to help her with anything she needs from the farm.
Great. Then another one. This is a comment from Roberta Williams. Excellent session. Much to think about. My head is buzzing with ideas. That's the idea. Thank you. And that's from Seasons Hydroponic Lettuce Farm. And she's one of our 20 businesses that's in our 20 Likkle Byte ideas. Okay, Marian is asking for a contact number for Mother Miriam's local treats. That's 461-1865 or 786-1865. That's another one of our 20 Likkle Gift Ideas businesses. And we have another comment from Manelva Samuel. She says, wow, great presentation. Financial wellness from the cradle to the grave. We need to start now. I love that. That's so true. From the cradle to the grave. Wonderful. So that's where we are with the questions and the comments.
That is great. Well, we are over time, and I want to say thank you so much to our two amazing guests. This has been totally bringing these two together. I hadn't even thought about how we connect the conversation, the thoughts, the ideas, but you guys blended so well. And I'm sure our guests learned a lot. So we want to thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your insights, your advice. Let me start with Mac. Mac, let me give you a minute to share a Likkle idea to take us into 2022.
Yeah, so my idea is it's simple and straightforward. Start the process early. I think a lot of times people underestimate children's ability and capacity to understand some of these concepts, but they do. They really do. They understand the difference about having options. And I think the earlier we expose our children to what their overall options are when it comes to their finances, it empowers them in ways that I think that we never really had before. So start the process early, and we're going to continue to build and develop the tools and resources to help parents do that and make learning about money fun at a very early age. So start the process early is my Likkle Byte.
Love it.
That's fantastic. And if all else fails, Mac, we get them a job, we get them an internship at Hunt Farms. Yep. Tavia.
Awesome.
It's been such a pleasure. I know you as a dancer, but I'm still trying to process this new chef, purveyor, chicken raiser, farmer.
Organic.
What is your Likkle idea? Any Likkle ideas you want to share based on your experience?
I really, really want to use this opportunity of becoming an entrepreneur in a different industry as a chance to really break the mold for what success looks like for our people coming from a small island, and to motivate other young people that, you can make a deviation and still make a great impact. You don't have to hold on to only what you know. And if I can do well in this industry, I think it will give a lot of people more flexibility to be okay when life changes for them, to go with the flow. So I'm seeing this as a chance for me to just become another great individual in another field, but not having to lose what I already love. And marrying both is really the takeaway for me. Being on this program has really inspired me. I feel motivated. I feel motivated to become financially well. Thank you, Matt, for everything. And I am removing, there's a shame that we have inside about being wealthy, because we never think that we should, because we worry about how people are going to treat us if we try to step out. But I feel after tonight that that's something that I can own. I do want to be wealthy. I don't just want to have a business, but I want to have a wealthy business. And I'm saying that tonight from what I felt in sharing with you guys on the program. And I'm going to just do that. So thank you guys again. David, you sought me out. I was peeping.
I did.
I was peeping
did.
and I wasn't sure. And the universe put you back on my path. And I'm very grateful. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to be reading your book, Mac. So I hope that I could continue chatting with you after, to give me some more guidance going forward. And Megan, I'm coming for you too, because I need all of you to be in my tribe to get me where I need to go. But I have really felt blessed tonight, and thank you guys for having me.
We're so excited for you. It takes so much courage to follow your dreams, follow your passion, especially at a time like this.
Yes.
When, there's so many reasons to doubt yourself. There's so many hurdles and roadblocks. I really applaud you and salute you for having the passion, you and your husband, for even venturing on this path, especially at this time. But knowing you, Tavia, with your determination and creativity, you'll be just fine. You have so many things working in your favor. It will all come together.
The journey continues, Tavia. The journey continues.
Yes, it will. Thank you.
And Mac, I'm still looking for you on CNN, or MSNBC or CNBC. I'm still hoping to turn on my television one day, and there you will be selling your app, selling your educational systems. I really feel excited for both of you, and I'm happy that I was able to bring your paths together. So this has been another really great episode. We have the most amazing guests. I tell you, this is our first season. We end our season on January 30th. And I invite all of our guests to come back next week, the 23rd. We'll have another great author. We have Joan Underwood. Her book is called The Manager's First Aid Kit. She is known for her as a leader in human resources, leadership, and I've been following her on social media with the launch of her new book. So you're in for another great treat with another great author next Thursday. And then on the 30th, the last Thursday of December, we will end our season. I believe that will be our 13th show since September. And so we're going to take a little break and come back re-energized with new concepts and ideas and new guests. Miss CEO, you hardly got a chance to talk today. I want to give you a moment or so to get at least a word in. You really were a part of the audience today.
I loved it. I was so excited. And I just lost internet, so I was out for a little bit. So I just want to say thank you to both Mac and Tavia. You both were excellent. From SFCG, what we do, I love what we do. We bring folks like you together. Our mission is similar to Mac. We want to ensure that we promote financial literacy and financial wellness. In terms of my idea for today, we are at the end of 2021 or coming to the end of 2021. What better time than now to start planning for 2022? And I strongly recommend, my idea is that everyone puts aside some time to plan what your goals are going to be for 2022. Be like Tavia. Tavia has come out and has declared she wants to be wealthy. Maybe it's time we be bold. And I think the beginning of a new year is always the best time to start something new. And so I encourage everyone to come up with at least 3 goals for 2022 and promise yourself that it's not going to be just for the month of January, but you're going to do what it takes. If you have to get an accountability partner, get an accountability partner. And let's see how we can do better in 2022 in terms of our financial literacy, our financial wellness, and be on the road to financial health. So that's what I want to encourage everyone to do. And Mac, I need to talk with you separately because my head is filled with ideas and I need to talk to you.
I am here at any point in time. I have a open door policy when it comes to folks that have a similar mission and are just looking for guidance and insights, experiences. So
Great.
more than happy to help.
Excellent. And Tavia, I'm coming to find your chicken.
Yes, I'm waiting too.
All right,
Great.
folks. It has been another amazing experience. To our viewers, you can get the list of the 20 little gift ideas on our website, Samuel Fields Consulting Group. I'm sorry, SamuelFieldsConsulting.com. If you missed this episode or you want to do a replay, we are on YouTube. We stream through YouTube. So as soon as you're done, you can go and either watch or watch the parts that you missed out on. And of course, we always encourage you to like our YouTube channel so that you can get notifications every time we upload new shows or new information. Of course, like us on Facebook as well. We love to hear your comments. We like to hear how you're doing with your business and how you're doing with your money management pursuits. So, as we always end our show by saying, and before I get into this, I'd be remiss not to thank our technical team. We have Aaliyah by herself today. She does an amazing job. We're technically challenged. So without our team, we couldn't bring you this amazing show. I'd be looking for comments and just going crazy. So it's great when you have some young bright people anchoring the show for you. So Aaliyah, we appreciate you. Nicholas, the other member of our team, he's traveling and he will be back next week. So as we always end our show by saying, if I have an idea, Megan.
And you have an idea.
That's great. We both have an idea, but it's when we bring those ideas together that the magic really happens and those eureka moments begin to manifest themselves because we begin sharing ideas.
Absolutely.
So we end our show every week by encouraging everyone. If you have an idea, chances are you aren't the person who thought about this idea. There may be someone out there that you can partner with to grow this idea and to shape it and to mold it into being even a bigger and better idea. So we want to thank all of you again for joining us. We hope that you've begun your Christmas shopping, support our 20 Likkle gift ideas, and also shop with them with your for a chance to even win more prizes from the list. So again, thank you to all of our great guests for joining us, and we'll see you again right back here next Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Antigua time, 5 p.m. Everyone have a great weekend. You've been an amazing guest to our guests in the studio and also to our guests in virtual land. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back next week.
Happy
Take care,
holidays.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.